be focusing on them for the next few minutes. I have a youth spelling class, and then I have an adult spelling class, and then an adult reading class. So I am about to start my youth spelling class first. We're still a few minutes early, and there's already 9 kids in class. They come right on time. They're all excited. They say, like, this sweet little student in the chat is saying, I'm so excited to learn. They're amazing. And then my adults are also coming from all over the world. And they come sometimes in the middle of the night. They set their alarm and they get up in the middle of the night to attend class, or they go on break wherever they're working so that they can attend class. They're always there right on time. All of their materials are printed. Sometimes their homework is done ahead of time. They're heroic. So I have this class of students that I'm going to start in about 1 minute. This class I'm about to teach has students from about age 7 to about age 11. And then after that, I will have all of my adult classes. My adults will come to either the spelling class or the reading class or both. A lot of them are in both. So I am just going to say hello to some of these students that are already typing in the chat. Okay, so I am going to start the class here in just a few seconds. So I am going to focus on them. I won't be able to focus on you during this live, but I am going to come live to interact only with you on Tuesdays and Thursdays at about the same time. But during this live on Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm going to be focused on my class, and you are just invited to just kind of be a fly on the wall and see what these classes are like. Okay, it is time to start, so I'm going to say goodbye to you and hello to them now. Hello, my friends. Happy Wednesday. Is it Wednesday already? Didn't we just have class? My goodness, time flies when you're having fun learning about spelling. I'm so happy that you made it. There's so many of you here. Welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. Saying hi in the chat. It's so nice to see you. And if you're brand new, a special welcome to you. We are going to start off today by counting some sounds. Would you please count how many sounds are in the word chicken? How many sounds are in the word chicken? And I put that in the Q&A for me. How many sounds are in the word chicken? And then put that in the comments. What do you think? Chicken. Now make sure you stretch it out so that you can really hear all those subtle little sounds, those micro sounds. All right, we're getting anywhere from 4 to 6 normally. I mean, on average, we're getting 4 to 6 in the Q&A. So let's see how many sounds are in chicken. We have ch, I, k, n. 5 sounds in chicken. One more time. Ch, I, k, n. 5 sounds. Here's how those sounds are spelled. You see that I right there? That sound is made with your jaw not dropped at all. Only your teeth are open enough that a piece of paper can come through and your mouth is in a long, wide grin. I, versus eh. In eh, your jaw is dropped just a little bit. I, both are in that word. That CK is one of 3 ways that we can spell the k sound. You can use a C, a CK, or a K. And we're going to have a whole lesson on that, so you don't have to wonder which one to use. I'm going to tell you exactly which one to use, but for now, we always use a C to spell the k sound. You'll notice that that CK is coming right after a short vowel. That's because that's when you use CK, is when it comes after a short vowel. All right, next, count how many sounds are in the word bravery. Bravery. How many sounds in bravery? Put it in the comments. How many sounds in bravery? What do you think? Bravery. How many sounds in bravery? All right, we're getting 5s, 6s, and 7s in the comments. So let's see. In bravery, we have b. Remember that B sound? Only your lips move, your jaw doesn't drop. B, b. So b, a, v, e. 6. Again. B, a, v, e. 6 sounds in bravery. Here's how those sounds are spelled. That A is spelling the long A sound A because there's another vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots. What is that E doing there? Well, it's there to help the A say its long sound, but that ER is also a grapheme. And that E is there to be the end of the word brave, because when we're spelling a word that ends with a V, you have to put a silent D at the end. When you're spelling a word that ends with the V sound, you can't have the last letter be a V. The last letter is not allowed to be V. Somebody just decided that. We can't have V's at the end, so you have to put a silent D after it. Okay, think of words like have or give. Okay, that E isn't making the vowel long, it's just preventing that V from being at the end. And that's what it's doing at the end of the word brave. And then that Y is spelling the long E sound at the end of that word, which is typical. All right, you guys are doing great. Count how many sounds are in the word. Okay, here we go. Pineapple. How many sounds are in the word pineapple? And put that in the Q&A. This is a tricky one to show you the spelling of, but it's possible. Usually spelling makes sense. We just have to figure out what's going on within the word. All right, 6s, 7s, and 8s are coming through. You're pretty confident, Sloan. I see all of those exclamation points. Let's see what we have in bravery. No, in pineapple. We have p, I, n, a, p, o. 6. Let's try that again. Did I get that right? You tell me. P, I, n, a, p, o. 6. It's got to be 6, right? Here's how those sounds are spelled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So it's technically the way it's spelled, a compound word. That's why that E is there in the middle, that random silent E. Silent E is never random. It's always there for a reason. And for this word, it's being at the end of pine to make that I make its long sound. At the end of apple, what is it doing there? It is being the vowel in that syllable. I should have divided it like this. The last syllable would be divided as PLE. That's called a consonant LE syllable. And that E is just being the vowel in that syllable, because every syllable needs a vowel. You are doing amazing. Let's try 3 more warm-up questions. Say the word spend. Spend. Now, say spend without the P. Say spend without the P. Don't put anything in the chat. Nothing is written down. All in your mind. What is spend without the P? So you can't let your lips close after that S sound. Okay, when you do that, spend without the P is spend. Send, spend, send. How did you do on that one? Yes, you got it, or Y for yes, you got it, or A for almost. Y or A. Nice, Henry. Nice, Jeanette. Paxton, good. Hunter, Ruby, Allie. It's okay. If you are an almost, you are not the only one. There's a lot of other almosts in here too. And almost is still good in my book. That means you almost got it because these are designed to be a little tricky. All right, say two more. Say the word. Now don't think about the spelling. This has nothing to do with letters. Only the sounds. Okay? Say the word sought, like I sought after a donut. Sought. There's three sounds in sought. Now I want you to add a sound. Add an O, tongue between your teeth, O after the S. We're saying sought and then adding an O after the S. So now you have to change your mouth shape. You have to put your tongue between your teeth right in that right spot. So when you do that, S-ot, three sounds, and O right here turns into slot, slot, sot to slot. How'd you do on that one? Y or A? Yes or almost? That's a lot of Y's. Good. I love the exclamation points. Beautiful. Nice. Okay, last one that we're going to get. Spelling. Say the word wreck. Wreck. Like I left my room a wreck, but don't think about the spelling. Now change a sound. Change the eh to an ah. In wreck, change the eh to an ah. Okay, when you do that, wreck changes to rock. Wreck to rock. Different mouth shapes, different sounds. Already with the Y's, put a Y or an A for a yes or almost. A question mark? You're kind of wondering if you got that one right? Beautiful. That's okay. That's okay if it's an almost. That is still an almost. That is really, really close and really, really good in my book. All right, my friends, we're going to get spelling now. You are going to learn the funnest fun fact today about I. I just love this rule because it happens in so many words. It's called the confident rule. A lot of people call it that anyway. Let me spell the word confident for you. So there's the word confident. Do you see that I in the middle syllable? Is it following the tab 2 rule? No, it's not saying I like usually vowels do when there's another vowel in the next one or two spots. It's saying I. That's because when I is in the middle syllable like that, it gets to be a little princess and it gets to say I regardless of if there are two consonants after it or not. That's the confident rule. It gets to say I no matter what. So in your spelling, you don't have to double the D. Here's another example. Here's the word hospital. Do you see that I is in the middle syllable, but it looks like it should be following the tab 2 rule because there's a vowel one or two doors down, but it's not. It's saying I. That's because it's in the middle syllable, and when I is in the middle syllable, it gets to say I, even if there aren't two consonants after it. So in your spelling, you don't have to double that T in hospital. You don't have to put two consonants after that I to make its short sound. Now, here are some important things to know. It has to be the middle syllable of a word, not just the middle of the word. Okay, so like the word lint. In lint, that I is in the middle of the word, but it's not in the middle syllable. A syllable is a chunk of a word, a part of a word that contains a vowel. So in order for an I to be in the middle syllable, it has to be in at least a word with three syllables in it, right? Because there has to be at least three for there to be a middle. So it can't even be a two-syllable word for this I to say it. It has to be right in the middle of a three-syllable word. How are you going to know if it's a three-syllable word? I'm glad you asked. You'll know if it's a three-syllable word if there are three vowels that don't touch each other. Like look at confident. The O and the I and the E don't touch each other. Look at hospital. The O, the I, and the A don't touch each other. So it's a three-syllable word. It could also work for 4 or 5-syllable words. As long as I is in the middle one, the middle chunk right there, then it gets to say it, and you don't have to double the next letter. Wasn't there something else I wanted to tell you about this? I think that's it, my friends. I think you are ready to start practicing. Who's ready? Are you ready? You got it? You did it already, Henry. Nice, Paxton. Oh, you've got this, Ruby. You have got this. Yes. So do you understand now? It has to be the middle syllable of a word. So there has to be three. Good, good, good. There has to be at least three vowels that don't touch. I'll show you. Don't worry. We're going to start working together on this so that you can see. All right. So our first word to do together is the word I-tipped. I-tipped sounds. We have I, t, I, d. Consonants. I, t. Oh boy. My little tablet friend just decided it was time to go to sleep. We have to wake up, tablet. There we go. And let's put it this way so that you can see it better. There we go. I-tipped. Consonants. We have I, t, I, d. Vowels. I. We always start with just a regular I. Can an I make the I sound in that spot? Yes. How do we know? Because there's already a vowel in the next one or two spots right there. We dotted it. So that I can say I right there just fine. I. Here's our new spelling hack for the day. Can this I say I right there? Yes, it can because it's in the middle syllable. Do you see that? There's a vowel before it that doesn't touch it and a vowel after it that doesn't touch it. So it gets to break the tap 2 rule. And it just gets to sit there by itself saying it all day long. Nobody's going to bother it. It's a little princess of a letter right there when it's in the middle like that. And then here is another I spelled with an I just fine because there's not a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. I-tipped. You ready for yours? Your word that I want you to spell for me is I-mitist. I-mitist. I-m-it-ist. I-mitist. And then put that in the Q&A for me. How do you spell I-mitist? I-mitist. How do you spell I-mitist? So in all of these lessons today, here's a little hint, a big hint actually. I'm not going to have any sounds that are going to be spelled with an E. You're not going to spell any sounds with an E today. All of our vowel sounds, if you're wondering if it's an I or an eh, it's always going to be an I spelled with an I, so that your brain can hear that sound over and over and how long and narrow that sound is, so that we can differentiate it from the E sound. I-mitist. Gorgeous, everyone. Look at all these correctly spelled words. Holy smokes. I'm in a room of geniuses. Yes, Sloan, the last two sounds right here are st, st. Okay? Then you can get it. So our consonants are I, m, I, t, s, t. Vowels. This first I can say I right here just fine because there's another vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots. But what about this I? Doesn't it also have to say I because there's a vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots? Nope. That's our reading hack for the day. Spelling hack. When I is in the middle syllable, and we can tell it's in the middle syllable because there's a vowel after it that doesn't touch it and a vowel before it that doesn't touch it. Then it gets to say I. Even if there's not two consonants after it, we don't have to double the T. And then here, this I can be spelled with an I just fine because there's not a consonant there or there. If you have a question, drop it in the Q&A. Drop it in the Q&A, and I'll answer it for everybody. Yes, you got it, Melanie. Very good. Okay, number 2. We're going to do this one together. Spell the word Phronesim together. Phronesim. P, R, I, N, I, S, I, M. Consonants. P, R, I, N, I, S, I, M. Phronesim. Now you might know how to spell the word cry, but we're not going to use that spelling, all right? Because that Y spells the long I sound at the end of short words, and this has nothing to do with the end and nothing to do with the short words, so that spelling doesn't apply here. What we do is we go for the most common spelling, and that's an I. Can an I say I in that spot? Yes, because of the tap 2 rule. There's a vowel right there. I. Can that I say I in that spot? Yes, because of what we are learning today, the confident rule. When I is in the middle syllable, it gets to say I, even if there's not two consonants after it. And then here's another I that can say, that's spelled by an I right there, just fine. All right, you ready for yours without me? All right, your word is spintidim. Spintidim. My mouth is open right there, just like this one. Spin, ti, d, I, My mouth is closed right there, just like this one. So my mouth is open in the middle, just like this one's. This mouth shape is open in the middle, and my mouth is closed at the end, just like this mouth shape is closed at the end. What's the word? Spintidim. Spintidim. I can't wait to see your answers. I can't wait to see your answers. Spintidim. Gorgeous, Karis. Benson, give me one more letter right here. There's a big hint. Spintidim. You've got this, Hunter. Gorgeous, Ruby. Nice, Benson. Jack, all I need is this letter right here. And then we're not going to have any E's in this lesson, only I's. Spin, ti, dim. There you go. Beautiful, everyone. Nice, Jeanette. Spin, ti, dim. There you go. Nice, Nimanshi. Henry, one more letter. Allie, one more letter. Jack, one more letter. You can always change your answer. Nothing's permanent. We're just learning. We're not in the spelling Olympics, are we? We're just learning. All right, consonants. We have spintidim. That might have been why some of you didn't have enough letters, because I did this underlining part wrong. So good for you for following me. Bad for me for leading you astray. Here's how it should look. Spin, No wonder. That one was on me, you guys, not you. That was all me. So more consonants. Sp, I, n, t, I, d, I, m. You knew that, didn't you? And then our vowels. I. That I can spell I because it's not in the middle syllable, so the confident rule doesn't apply, but it does have two consonants after it, so that I can say I. This I can also say I, but for a different reason. It's because it's in the middle syllable. And this I gets to say I because there's not a vowel in the next one or two spots. So all of our spellings have a because. All of our spellings have a because. That is why you're getting it now. That's why you're understanding spelling now, because you're not being asked to just memorize a random bunch of letters. You're being taught how to spell, right? You've never spelled this word before in your life. I know because I made it up, but you knew how to spell it. So every spelling has a because, and you're learning why words are spelled the way they are so that you can spell easy. You guys are great spellers. All right, let's try I-fidip. Do I want that one? Sure. I-fidip. So that second sound is my top teeth going over my bottom lip. I-fi, like Frank, friend, flower. I-fidip. We have I-f-i-d, I. Now let me check those lines. I-f-i-d, I. Yeah, that's the way it is. Do you want to spell this one on your own? I think you can because you're doing so amazing. Try it. I-fidip. 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 You want a hard one? Sure. You're good, Benson. So the last sound is a p, like Paul or panther. I-fidip. Gorgeous, beautiful, everyone. Look at all of those beautiful spellings. You are making my day. Every single person got it right. That's how amazing you are. All right, consonants. I, d, I, p, right? Vowels. I. This I can say I because of the tap 2 rule. I. This I can say I because of the confident rule. And I. This I can say I because of the tap 2 rule. You knew all of that. Your knowledge bank in your brain is getting full. You are getting so full of knowledge. All right, I had a request for a hard one. Who else wants a hard one? Yes or no? Put a Y or an N in the Q&A. Do you want a hard one? Yes or no? All right, I'm getting a lot of yeses, but some no's. So here's what I want you to do if it was a no. If you don't want a hard one, put your pencil down. You don't even have to try, okay? Skip this one. You have my permission. All right, here's a hard one. I-tripist. 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 Let's see what you've got. Put it in the comments. There's a 2-letter consonant blend toward the beginning. Gorgeous, Hunter. Nice, Jack. You guys are getting it. There is a 2-letter consonant blend right there. 2 consonants right there. I-tripist. I-tripist. Emily, I want you to look at the lines that I have right here and make sure that you have the same number of lines for the same number of sounds that you're spelling. Henry, I sounds like it should be spelled I-E, doesn't it? Doesn't it? That's because it's a diphthong. And it sounds, when you say the long sound of I, your mouth changes shape and it ends up with that E sound. Watch. I. So it sounds like it should be spelled with an I-E. But it's just a single I. It's the name, the sound, the long sound of I is just its name. Its name is I. And that sound I is actually an infinite number of micro sounds in there. So it's a little bit of a bear. I-tripist. I-tripist. How does the I say I? If the I says I if there's another vowel 1 or 2 doors away. That's all it needs. Yeah, beautiful. All right, consonants. I, t, r, I, p, I, s, t. Vowels. I. Oh, how does that I? That's what you're talking about. How does that I say? It can't, can it? That would have to be I. I-tripist. Oh, so some syllable division rules will let you divide it right there, and that open I could have said I, but we're gonna just make it say I, so it follows the tap two rule. I'm gonna have to cross that one out. That you did ask for a hard one. That was a little harder than I expected. And then this I in the middle, that is their new spelling hack for the day. It follows that confident rule. When I is in the middle syllable, it gets to say I, even without two consonants after it. When I is in the middle syllable, it gets to say I, even without two consonants after it, so you don't have to double the P. And here's another I. Henry, you are smarter than the teacher, my friend. You picked that up before I even picked it up. That was easy, Melanie. Wow, you're just brilliant. That's all. That just explains it because it wasn't easy for me. You guys are just exceptional spellers. How does it feel? How does it feel to be such good spellers? Did you even know you could spell this good? Did you even have any idea that all you had to know was the Y and then you can spell it no problem? Now you know that when you're spelling a word with an I in the middle, you do not have to double the next letter because you've been learning that when you're spelling a short vowel sound, there has to be either two consonants after it or a consonant and then the end of the word. Except for I, it gets to be the princess in the middle syllable and it doesn't have to have those two consonants after it. You've also learned today how to tell if it's a three-syllable word or not. If there are three vowels that don't touch, then that's how you can tell if it's a three-syllable word. You're amazing. It is proven. It is official. You're amazing. Have a wonderful rest of your night, my friends, and a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Bye, everybody. All right, hello TikTok, hello YouTube. Thanks for joining me. So now what I'm doing is I'm preparing for my adult spelling class. That was my youth spelling class. So they were all on the younger side. Aren't they adorable? Don't you just love them? You can't even see them or hear them, but they are just amazing. They're such good spellers too. All they had to know is the Y of the word and they could get it. So now I am preparing everything for my adult spelling class, which I'm starting right now. All right. So thank you for joining me. I am going to be focusing on my class now. So I won't be able to engage with you, but I will be able to engage with you on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the same time. It's just going to be me and you. But right now, it's just me and my class. So I'll see you in 30 minutes. Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I cannot believe it is already Wednesday. There we go. I'm just getting all organized here. Welcome in, and if you're brand new, welcome, welcome. It's so nice to have you. I hope your day has been bright and full of joy. It is my pleasure to be with you today, teaching you. We're going to start by counting some sounds. Would you please count how many sounds are in the word chicken? Chicken. Count how many sounds are in the word chicken for me, and then put that in the Q&A. How many sounds in chicken? How many sounds in chicken? We are counting the sounds in chicken. Make sure you stretch out that word a lot more than I just did. I just kind of squished all of those sounds together. Make sure you stretch it all out so that you can count every single one. Chicken. Chicken. So I'm getting in the Q&A anywhere from 4 to 6 for the sounds. Okay, so let's count them up. Let's see what we have in chicken. We have I, k, n. 5. Again. Ch, I, k, n. There are 5 sounds in chicken. I have to say it better. Chicken. Here is how those sounds are spelled. That first I is spelling the short I sound because of the tab 2 rule. There are 2 consonants after it. That CK is spelling the k sound because that is how you spell the k sound after a short vowel. But we're going to have a whole lesson on that. When to use C, when to use CK, and when to use K. But for now, I'm just giving you a sneak peek of that CK spelling. And then that E is spelling the E sound. So I want to take a second and pause on this word because it has both a short I and a short E in it. So you can practice saying a word with both of those sounds and articulating each one as it was intended clearly. So that I, right, your mouth is in a long wide grin. I, the E, your jaw is dropped. E, I, I. So when we are reading, we have to hear each one of those sounds clearly. It would sound like chicken, chicken, right? If you can control the sound, the shape of your mouth, then you can control the sounds that are coming out. All right, next. How many sounds are in the word bravery? Bravery. How many sounds in bravery? Bravery. Okay. What are we getting? How many sounds in bravery? 6, 7, 7s, 5s. All right. In bravery, we have B. Make sure that when you say the sound of that B, that only your lips are moving. Your jaw isn't dropping. Nothing else is happening. Just B, B. Then the B, A, V, E. 6. The has 2 different spellings. I mean, this one, I'm not quite clear on if the E is there for the V, which I know it is in the base word, or if it's there for the ER, for the ER grapheme. But here's how I bunched it up for the spelling. The base word is brave. So that E is there to stop the V from being at the end and for making that A say its long sound. So that E is doing 2 jobs. Silent E can do 2 jobs when you're spelling. If it wasn't there, it would say brav and it would be spelled incorrectly because no English word is allowed to end in a V. And then that ER is one of the spellings of the sound. And then Y at the end of a multi-syllable word usually spells the E sound, the long E sound. Okay, count how many sounds in pineapple. Pineapple. How many sounds in pineapple? What do you think? Pineapple. Nice. This one made me really stop and think. I had to count really carefully on this one. 6s and 7s a lot coming through in the comments. So in pineapple, we have P, I, N, A, P, O, 6. P, I, N, A, P, O, 6. Here's how those sounds are spelled. It's technically a compound word. We have pine and we have apple. The E is not random in either case. You might not know why that E is there, but I'm going to tell you right now. Because that E has to be at the end of the word pine in order for that I to make its long sound. We learned that last time on Monday, I believe. And the second E has to be there because technically that last syllable would be divided like this. And it would be a consonant L-E syllable. And every syllable has to have a vowel. And that E is just being the vowel in that word. All right, there's our 3 counting. Now 3 more warm-up questions. Say the word spend. Spend. Now say spend without the P. Say spend without the P. Don't write anything down, only in our mind. Spend without the P. Okay, when you do that, spend without the P is send. Send. Spend. Send. How is that one? Y or A? For yes or almost? How did you do? Y or A? Yes or almost? On that one. Nice, Francesco. That's all right. If you're an A, that is still almost. That's still pretty darn good. I bet you got closer than you think. Okay, try this one. Now, just a reminder for these next two, not to think about the letters. Don't think about the spelling. Okay? Try to put the letters out of your brain. Only work and think about the sounds. Now say the word sought, like I sought after a donut. Sought. I always use donuts or bacon in my examples. Until what I love. Sought. Okay, now add an l after the s. Say sought, but add an l after the s. So sought, adding an o after this is slot. Sought to slot. How'd you do? Y or A? Yes or almost? Good, good. Nice. Okay, beautiful. Last one, last warm-up question. Say the word wreck, like I left the kitchen a wreck. Now, change the eh to an ah. Say wreck, but change the eh to an ah. Don't think about the spelling. Put the letters out of your mind. Okay, when you do that, wreck changes to rock. Wreck to rock. How is that one? Y or A? Yes or almost? Lovely. Good. Your phonemic awareness skills are strengthening. That is a wonderful thing that should be celebrated. That's beautiful. Okay, should we get spelling? So today we're still in I. We're in I month, and today I'm going to be teaching you the confident rule. And if you were with me in the last year or the year before even when we had this lesson, let me know in Q&A. Do you already know, or do you already know from some other source what the confident rule is? Have you ever heard of the confident rule when spelling? No? No, no, no? Okay, well, yeah, I get to teach you something. And this is a fun spelling hack because it's everywhere. This little spelling pattern happens in so many words. You're going to see it in so many instances. Here it is. Let me just spell the word for you. I'm extending the suspense. Okay, so there's the word confident. Do you see that I, how it's in the middle syllable? How I divided that word up into its 3 syllables? And you also notice that that I is saying I? That's its short sound. However, can you look at the vowel 2 doors down? Shouldn't that I say I because of the tap 2 rule? Yes, it should, except for when I is in the middle syllable. Then it breaks the tap 2 rule. That's what the confident rule is. When I is in the middle syllable, it gets to say it, regardless of if there are 2 consonants after it or not. So when you're spelling, When you're spelling a word with 3 syllables or more, and that I is in the middle syllable, if it's spelling the I sound, it's okay. If there's not 2 consonants after it, you're not going to double the next letter. So in confident, you're not going to double the D. In hospital, do you see it's the same thing? That I is saying I, isn't it? Even though it looks like it shouldn't be able to spell the I sound because of the tattoo rule, there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. But when I is in the middle syllable, it gets to say I, regardless of if there are 2 consonants after it or not. So you don't have to double that T. It's a little princess of a letter. Now, how are you supposed to know when you're spelling if it's in the middle syllable or not? It can't be just the middle of a word. It can't be just in a word like lint, a 1-syllable word, or even picnic, a 2-syllable word. You can tell when you're spelling if a word is 3 syllables or not, if there are 3 vowels that don't touch. That's how you'll know. So when you're spelling, you can see in confident, the O doesn't touch the I doesn't touch either of the vowels, and the E doesn't touch the I. So no vowel can touch. That's how you'll know it's a syllable. So in there we have the O, the I, and the E that aren't touching, so it's a 3-syllable word. In the next word, hospital, we have the O, the I, and the A that aren't touching, so we know it's a 3-syllable word. I has to be in the middle like that. It can also happen in 4 or 5-syllable words, and it can also happen when there's 2 I's in both middles. And it's still okay. It still doesn't have to have 2 consonants after it. So let me show you what that looks like when we're spelling. So I'm going to share my screen. Isn't that a fun fact? Spelling is full of fun facts. If you just are taught what they are, then spelling itself turns fun. All right, I want to do our first word together. Please type in the word. Let's spell this word together. I-tipped. We have I, T, I, P, I, D. I-tipped. Consonants. I, T, I, P, I, D. Vowels. I. Can an I spell the long sound right there? Yes, because there is another vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots. It's perfect. I. Here is our spelling hack for the day. Now, if you do the lines first and you dot the lines first, like I always highly recommend, then you'll be able to see at a glance easily that it's a 3-syllable word. You can tell because of those 3 dots right there. So I can tell when I'm spelling this I sound right here, I don't have to double the P. I don't have to have 2 consonants after it because I's in the middle, syllables are princesses, and they get to break the tattoo rule. And then here's another I spelled with just a single I right there, just fine. You want to try it? Your word is I-mitist. I-mitist. I-m-it-ist. I-mitist. And then drop it in the Q&A. Very good, Taryn. That's right. I-mitist. I-mitist. Very good, Rowan. It has a T at the end, like Tom. Right here, there's a T. Give me one more letter, Francesco. I-mitist. I-mitist. Gorgeous, Joseph. There you go, Sheldon. Well done. There you go, Francesco. Good. Red one, give me one more letter at the end. I-mitist. There's a T at the end. I-mitist. There you go. Nice, Rowan. All right, so our consonants are I, M, I, T, S, T. That T is kind of hard to hear in the mic, isn't it? Vowels. This first I can be spelled with an I right there just fine because there's another vowel 1 or 2 doors down. I. Here is our spelling hack for the day. We can tell at a glance that this I is in the middle syllable because there's a vowel before it that doesn't touch it and a vowel after it that doesn't touch it. So it gets to say I without the next letter being doubled. There doesn't have to be two consonants after it. And then this I gets to say I because there is two consonants after it. See, this one doesn't qualify for the confident rule. This one is the tap two rule. There's always a because, there's always a why. Almost always. I mean, it is English, but almost always there's going to be a why behind the spelling. So it's logical. It makes sense. All right, let's try another one. Let's spell the word prinism. Prinism. We have p-r-i-n-i-s-i-m. Prinism. Consonants. p-r-i-n-i-s-i-m. Now I can tell at a glance it's a three-syllable word. I can tell easily because of those three vowels that don't touch. All right, the first sound I can be spelled with just a single I right there. It follows the tap two rule. I is our new spelling hack for the day. It's in the middle syllable, so it gets to say I, even if there aren't two S's after it. And this I also says I right here just fine because of the tap two rule. This I says I because of the confident rule. This I says I because of the tap two rule. There's always a because. If you ever wonder what the because is, just drop it in the questions and I'll be happy to answer. All right, now I want you to try this one on your own. Do you see how this one has an N in the middle right here and an M at the end? This next word is going to follow the same pattern. So if you're wondering if it's an N or an M, the middle sound is going to be an N, just like this one. The last sound is going to be an M, just like this one. Okay, your word is spintidim. Spintidim. S-p-i-n-t-i-d-i-m. Spintidim. 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 And then just leave it in the comments when you're ready. The best thing to do is to check to make sure that you have the same number of lines as me, that each of those lines has its own spelling, and then the same lines are dotted for the vowel sounds. Spin, ti, dim. This right here, Rowan, these last three sounds are dim, dim, like you're going to dim the lights. Spin, ti, dim. There you go. Nice. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Take your time. No hurry. Spin with my mouth open. Ti, dim with my mouth closed. Mouth closed at the end and you'll have it. Spin. Here's spin. Here's ti. Here's dim. Spin, ti, dim. Spin, ti, dim. This one's a hard one, wasn't it? I know. Let's do this one together, shall we? So our consonants are s, p. That sound might have been hard to hear in the mic. And then there is our mouth open sound right there. T, t, I, and then dim, d, I, m. Okay, we got that far so far? Spin, ti, dim. Now you can hear all three of those vowel sounds are all I, aren't they? So here's this I that gets to spell, this I gets to spell the I sound right there because of the tap two rule. There are two consonants after it. This I also wanted to say I, which it can right there because it's in the middle syllable. That's the confident rule. And then this I right here gets to say I because of the tap two rule. These two are tap two. This one is confident. Who's confident about the tap two rule? Who's confident about the confident rule? Put a yes. Give me a Y if you're feeling pretty confident about this rule, how it works. The confident rule with the I being able to spell the I sound in the middle syllable without two consonants after it. Good. Okay. Good. All right. Try this one. Let me get your feedback though. Do you want for the next one, because the last one was a little bit hard, do you want an easy one, a medium one, or a hard one? Give me an E, M, or H. Easy, medium, or hard? Hard, hard, medium, medium, medium. Medium it is. Getting mostly mediums there. Okay, medium it is. I agree. I think we should do a medium one. All right, I want our word to be I list. I want this to come out clearly in the mic so you can hear what I'm saying. I lispin. Do you see this spin right here? That's how it's going to end. I lispin. I o is I lispin. And all our vowels are going to be I's. There's not going to be any E's in this. If you're wondering if it's an I or an E, it's going to be an I. I lispin. Good. Beautiful. You got this. You did say you had it. I believe you. I lispin. Gorgeous. Beautiful. Nice Rowan. Nice Francesco. Nice Joseph. Beautiful, everyone. Yeah, take your time. I'll wait for a few more. Exactly. Very good, Redwin. Gorgeous, Sheldon. Beautiful, everyone. Yeah, I think everybody's got this one. So our consonants are I, O, I, S, P, I, N. Vowels, I. This I can spell the I sound because of the tap 2 rule. I. This I spells its short sound because of the tap 2 rule. And this I also spells a short sound because of the tap 2 rule. So you might be wondering, doesn't this I get to say I because it's in the middle syllable? Sure, yeah, it is true, even though it doesn't really need the confident rule because there are already two consonants after it, but it can follow both rules. It can follow both rules right there. So it's a double reason why it says it right there. Okay, let's try one more. I think I'll make this one just a touch harder if that's okay. Just a touch harder if that's okay. Okay, this one is a touch harder. Try this one. Glistenid. Glistenid. Mouth is open in the middle. Move this up. K-O-I-S-I-N-I-D. Glistenid. Glistenid. You have to think about this one in a particular spot. I don't want to give you too many hints, but I do want to set you up for success. I want you to pay attention to this spelling right there. Look at what's in that spot right there. Rowan, I need this letter right there. Give me that one. We're always going to spell the k sound with a C in this class until I teach you when to use a K and when to use a CK. Yeah. That is the most common spelling for the k sound by far, is a C. Yeah. And then we have an I at the end. Glistenid. Glistenid. There you go. Well done. All right, my friends, here's what's happening here. So we have that k sound spelled with a C. That is going to be the correct spelling for the k sound in 90% of the cases. Maybe not that many, but a lot. I'm going to teach you exactly when to use a K and when to use a CK, but that has its own lesson, its own 30-minute lesson. So for now, we always use a C. So our sounds: k, o, I, s, I, n, I, d. Now I'm looking in the comments and I am not seeing anybody. Oh, I see two people. Two people were able to figure this one out. It was a tough one. I told you it was going to be a hard one. Here's what's happening. So for this I right here, can that say I? Can this I spell the I sound? Now you got it, don't you? Now you see that this I cannot spell the I sound because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors away. That would force it to say I. I don't want it to say I want it to say I. I is a short vowel sound. Short vowel sounds require 2 consonants after them. If there's not 2, we make 2 by doubling the next letter. Now it can say I. What about this I? Can it say I? Can it spell the I sound right there? It also has a vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots. However, it is in the middle syllable. And that is our spelling hack for the day. You learned that when I is in the middle syllable like that, there's a vowel before it that doesn't touch it and a vowel after it that doesn't touch it. Then that I gets to say it, regardless of if that N is doubled or not. And then the I sound right here also spells this is sound just fine because of the tap 2 rule. Clissenid. Now, if you didn't spell it correctly, do you understand it now? Can I get a Y in the comments if you understand it now, if you didn't before? Good. Okay, beautiful. So today you have learned that, a couple things actually. You have learned that when I is in the middle syllable, it gets to make its short sound I. I gets to spell that short sound I without having to double the next letter. There doesn't have to be 2 consonants after it. That's only for I, and it's only for if it's in the middle syllable, not the middle of a word, the middle syllable of a word. The sound feels like from what you shared with me in the comments that you're understanding this pretty well. And for the rest of the month, we're going to be revisiting that a lot, and so that you can have some more practice with that. All right, my friends, it has been a pleasure as always. I am going to prepare for my reading class. Hopefully I will see you over there in about 30 seconds. If not, then have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful rest of your night. Bye, everybody. Okay, hello, TikTok. Hello, YouTube. That was my adult spelling class. Thanks for the hearts. Now I am preparing for my adult reading class. I only have about 30 seconds between classes, so I can't engage with you a lot. But I will be on live on Tuesdays and Thursdays with only you so that I can gauge, so that I can talk about you and your readers. But for now, I'm about to start my adult reading class. So feel free to just be a fly on the wall and watch and listen while I teach them. Okay, we are ready. So now I am going to turn all of my attention to my class. Hello, my friends. Welcome in. Welcome back if you were just coming from my spelling class. And if not, it's lovely to see you. Happy Wednesday. I can't believe it's Wednesday. Didn't we just have class? Weren't we just here? Wasn't it just Monday? But it's nice to have you back. I'm happy that it's Wednesday so that I get to see you again. We're going to start by warming up our ears. Would you please count how many sounds are in the word? Okay, before I ask you to count the sounds in this word, I want to clarify a sound, and that is the ow sound. That is a big, huge diphthong. Your mouth really changes shape from the beginning of it to the end of it. Ow. Completely changes shape. Ow. So even though it is a series, an infinite number of micro sounds within that one grapheme or that one phoneme, we're going to count it as one sound. So if by chance this word has an ow in it, I want you to count that as one sound. Are you ready? The word is sunflower. How many sounds in sunflower? Counting the sounds in sunflower. Counting the sounds in sunflower. All right, we're getting 6s, 7s, and 8s in the comments. In sunflower. Oh yeah. Right, MP. It's hard to even count it as 2 because it's like, where does the sound start and where does it end with that one, huh? So if we're counting that ow as 1, then our sounds are s, f, o, ow, 7. Again, do it with me. S, f, o, ow, 7 sounds. Here's how those sounds are spelled. Every grapheme is saying exactly what you would expect. And if you need a refresher on what a grapheme is, that is simply a letter or set of letters that makes one sound. So that ER, for instance, that's a grapheme that's making the sound. That OW, it has several different names, but we'll call it a grapheme that is saying ow. Those are the 7 spellings of those 7 sounds in sunflower. Now, try again. How many sounds in pose? You thought I was going to say yoga, didn't you? How many sounds in pose? We're counting how many sounds in pose. What do you think? Same with yellow? Well, that's a good question, MP. Let me just address that. Actually, I'm going to finish pose, and I'm going to come back to your question about yellow. So we're counting the sounds in pose. 3s and 4s mostly coming through in the comments. All right, so in pose, we have P, O, Z. 3. 3 sounds, 4 letters. But remember, a grapheme is a letter or set of letters that makes one sound. It's those sounds that we are spelling. Those sounds are called phonemes. And it's the phonemes that we're reading when we read a word. So there's 3 in this word. P, O, Z. Here's how those sounds are spelled. That SE is spelling the Z sound. That is a common spelling for the Z sound at the end of words. The actual Z doesn't come at the end of very many words, only at the end of 5 that I know of. But SE spells the Z sound often at the end of words. That E is also there to make the O make its long sound and say O. A silent D can have several different jobs. Well done. All right, to go back to MP's question about yellow versus sunflower. You'll see in those 2 words that OW is saying 2 different things. You're going to learn all about this in O month. Let's see, when is that? I think it's next month. Yeah, in April we're learning all about O. And you're going to learn when that OW says O and when it says ow. It's actually quite common for it to say both. Usually that OW is going to say O at the end. It can't say both in both instances, so it's kind of a complex answer that we need a whole 30-minute lesson on. But you were right. That OW and those 2 words says 2 different things. All right, where are we? Last one to count. Do you think I'm going to say yacht? Nope. I'm going to say nautical. How many sounds in nautical? We're counting the sounds in nautical. How many sounds in nautical? There's a schwa, a very subtle schwa there at the end. Nautical. Okay, we're getting, there are 3 syllables in nautical. cull, but there are several phonemes within each one of those syllables, and we're counting those tiny little micro sounds. All right, in nautical, we have n, ah, t, I, k, o. 7. N, ah, t, I, k, o. 7 sounds in nautical. Here's how those sounds are spelled. You'll see that AU right there. I mentioned this in our warm-up class on Monday also. AU is kind of like a short O sound, but it's deeper. Your jaw is dropped even more. So it's nautical. And look at that I. That is a perfect segue to our lesson today about I in the middle syllable. But first we have 3 more warm-up questions so that you can really be primed and ready to go for our lesson today. I want you to say the word planet. Planet. Now, say planet without the E. Say planet without the E. So planet has, I think, 6 sounds. Let's count. We have P, L, A, N, E, T. If we get rid of the E, then we have P, L, A, N, T. Plant. Planet. Plant. How did you do on that one? Y, you got it, or A almost? Planet to plant. Okay, thank you for your feedback. That is good to know. I need to know how difficult these are so I kind of know which one to give you next. If everybody said that that one was super hard, then I would have reined it back a little bit. All right. Okay, next. Say the word tie. Tie. Now say the word tie, but add an after the t. Say tie, but add an after the t. Don't think about the spelling. Only the sounds. So there's 2 sounds in tie, t, I. When you add an right here, then it's t, I. Try. Tie to try. How is that one? Y or A? Yes or almost? Try to try. Okay, thank you for giving me that feedback. Yeah, that one might have been a little bit more difficult because of that R. In this case, we were forcing it to be the second letter of a 2-letter consonant blend. And when you have R as the second letter of a two consonant blend, then that R sound absorbs into that first sound. It turns into tur. It's kind of hard to pick off where the R begins and where the T ends. So that might have been a little bit hard because of that R. Same with the L sometimes. All right, last one. Last warm-up question. Say the word soccer. Soccer. Now change the k to a s. Say soccer, but change the k to a s. All right, when you do that, soccer changes to soccer, changing the k to a s. Now we have saucer, saucer, soccer to saucer, soccer, saucer. Y or A for that one? I love the exclamation point, Kaylee. Yay, beautiful. All right, let me get our lesson all ready to go for you. Because this is one of the reasons why I love I month, my friends, because of rules and patterns like this, the one that I'm about to teach you. You're going to see this in a lot of words, and that is an I in the middle syllable, and it's going to say it. Let me give you, see how many words I can think of as examples, real words. We have the word confident, which is why this kind of this rule is named for. The word confident. We have hospital. Okay, other words. If you have any suggestions for words with I in the middle syllable, put them in the comments. Let me see if I can think of some. There's a lot. I want to say there's a million. There might not be a million, but there's a lot. How about this one? Centipede. How about? Oh, I like that. Thank you, Mrs. Johnson. Officers. So do you see in confident, hospital, centipede, officers that, right, Kaylee, it doesn't follow the tab 2 rule. It breaks the tab 2 rule. And I is the only letter that gets to do it, and it has to be in the middle syllable. It can't be just in the middle of a one syllable word. It can't be a word like glint. That's not in the middle syllable. That's only one syllable. It can't be a word like picnic. That's a 2-syllable word. In order to be in the middle syllable, there has to be at least 3 syllables, right? In order for there to be a middle. So it has to be 3 syllables, 4, 5, or longer. When I is in that middle syllable, it breaks the tab 2 rule and says I. There you go. You're welcome. Enjoy your new reading pattern for the day. How are you going to know if it's in the middle syllable? How to know if it's a 3? I'm saying the word syllable like 1,000 times. If it's, how are you going to know when you're reading if it's a 3-syllable or a longer word? I'm glad you asked. I'll tell you. If there are 3 vowels that don't touch, that's how you'll know. So look at all of those words: confident, hospital, centipede, officers. There are 3 vowels that don't touch. That means it's a 3-syllable word. And when I is in the middle, it breaks the tab 2 rule and says it. It's a little princess of a letter. I is the only one that gets to do that. Yeah. So now you know. Now you know. You're welcome. That's so fun. So let's practice it. You're going to love this, my friends. You're going to be so glad that you came to class today. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. All right. Let's get reading. So they'll do this first one together. This first I is going to say I because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. You know that, right? The tab 2 rule. And now here is that I in the middle syllable. There's a vowel before it that doesn't touch it, and there's a vowel after it that doesn't touch it. So I can tell it gets to follow the confident rule. It breaks the tab 2 rule, and it gets to say it, even if there aren't 2 P's after it. And then this I also says it, for the same reason, the tab 2 rule. So there's always a because. In spelling, there's always a because. If I ever skip over a Y of one of the letters, just message me. Just throw a question in there and I'll clarify it. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, our sounds are I, D, I, P, I, D. Blending those sounds together, we have I, D, pid. I, dipid. I, dipid. Making sure that this one's short. These two are both short. Try yours over here. Go for it. I'm going to try yours. I think it's okay. Try yours. You're getting it, aren't you? You already have more knowledge than you had 15 minutes ago. That is a celebration. Okay. This first I says I because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. The second I says I because because it's in the middle syllable and it's an I. I in the middle syllable just says I. That's the confident rule. And then this I also follows the tab 2 rule. There's not a vowel there or there, so it gets to say I. Our sounds are I, T, I, B, I, P. Blending those sounds together, we have I, T, bip. I, T, bip. I to bip. Did you get that one? Y or A? Yes or almost? Did you get I to bip? Okay. Lovely. Well done. Nice, everyone. Next, number 2. Let's do this one together. So this first I says it because of the tap 2 rule. There are 2 consonants after it. This I can tell it's in the middle syllable because there are 3 vowels that don't touch. This I gets to say it because of the confident rule. This I gets to say it because of the tap 2 rule. There's always a because. You can figure this out. It's logical. The hard part can be blending all of those sounds together without letting any other sounds in or out or mixed around, right? That's why this pencil works so well, because it keeps things organized in your mind. And if you can keep your eye, your mouth, say it out loud because that makes it multisensory, and your hand all in a line, then it'll be really hard for other sounds to come in or out or get mixed around. So our sounds are s, t, I, n, d, I, t, I, p. So an extra layer of security to prevent sounds getting in or mixed around where they don't belong is to do successive blending, grabbing just one sound at a time. It looks like this. St, sti, stin, stind, stinde, stindit, stindite, stinditip, stinditip. How did you do on that one? Yes or almost for stinditip? Beautiful. Stinditip. Okay. What did I want to tell you about that one? It might have been easy for an R to slip in after that T, but that successive blending technique will really prevent that, because you'll be going from stindit and then just grabbing the I. It'll be hard for that R to sneak in there. Let's try this one. Go ahead and try this one without me. I'm going to try this. Make this just a touch bigger. Try number 2, the other number 2, without me. And try that successive blending. You got it, but it was a little hard. Oh, good job. That was a hard one, so well done. Wait a minute, are you wondering why I put a short sound over this first I? Were you just waiting for me to correct that? If you ever see me make a mistake like that, you have to correct me, because I am just so mortal. I just make mistakes all the time. If you ever see me make a mistake like that, please, nobody sees your questions and answers but me. Just let me know, because it was going to be confusing for other people. All right, so yeah, this I right here, Daryl, you're funny, that has a macron over it. So this long vowel sound symbol is called a macron, and this short sound symbol is called a breve. Do you want to know a funny story about that? If you were in my class last year or the year before, then you know what I'm about to say. I was calling this short sound symbol a breve. I called it a breve my whole life. I never knew it was a breve. It should say breve. It should follow all those spelling and reading patterns that I teach, but for some reason I just kind of stuck in my head that it was this fancy French word, and it just said breve, like releve in ballet or something. So thank goodness somebody corrected me, like, isn't that breve? So I had to look it up, and by golly, yes, it is a breve. So this short sound symbol is called a breve. This long sound symbol, let me make that better, is called a macron. And if you ever hear me or see me make a mistake, please correct me. I need you. So we know that this I is going to say I because of the tap-2 rule. This I will say I. Is it for the confident rule? I mean, sure. If I is in the middle syllable, it gets to say I, regardless of if there are two consonants after it or not. In this case, there are two consonants, so sure. It gets to say I because of the confident rule and because of the tap-2 rule. A double reason. And this I says I because of the tap-2 rule. All right, so all of our sounds are p, o, I, n, I, s, t, I, m. Should I do successive blending? I think we can just do this one straight through. Let's try it. Did I say I? Hopefully I said I. I need you to correct me, my friends, if I do something wrong, because trust me, I will do things wrong, and I need your help to fix that. So we have pull all the way through. Plinistim. Make sure an R doesn't sneak in after that T. It will be tempting because of the shape of your mouth going from the T to the I for that R to sneak in there. That's where most reading mistakes happen, is an R or an L comes in where they don't belong. So force that R sound. There's no R in here, so don't let your lips form that shape. Plinistim. Keep your mouth in that long, wide grin. Plinistim. How was that one? Y or A? Yes or almost? For plinistim. You did better on that one than I did. You guys probably all got plinistim when I was still on plinistim. How could it have said plinistim? It could have said plin if there was two N's there. Then that would have said plin. All right, try this number 3 over here on your own. This one looks fun. I'm excited to try it. It's a 4-syllable word because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 vowels that don't touch. And if you're wondering if the confident rule applies to like the second one or the third one, as long as it's in a middle, it applies. So it can be the second and third syllable because there's a syllable on either side of each of those. So as long as it's in a middle, as long as I used to tell my kids, if it's the cream in the cookie or the turkey in the sandwich, it gets to say I. If it's the cream in the cookie or the turkey in the sandwich, it gets to say I. So as long as there's a syllable on either side of it, then that I gets to say I. This one looks fun. I'm excited to try it out loud. Okay, so this first I is going to say I, right? Because of the tap-2 rule. This I is in the middle syllable. There's a vowel before it and a vowel after it that don't touch it. This I is also in a middle syllable. There's a vowel before it and a vowel after it that doesn't touch it. So those both follow the confident rule. This I gets to say I, but for a different reason. It's the tap-2 rule. There's not a vowel here or here. Yeah? You with me? All right, so now it's the blending that we have to get on this word. It's a 4-syllable word with a lot of S's in there, so let's see if we can do this here. Should I go straight through or should I do successive blending? Let me think. I think I'll do successive blending just to keep everything straight. So we have I, S, I, S, I, T, I, N. Okay, here we go. Ice, ice, ISIS, 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 ISISIT, Isisitin. Isisitin. You have to tell me, how did you do on isisitin? Was that a Y or an A? A yes or almost? Did you get isisitin? Wow. It was fun, huh? Right? I mean, look at that word. If you had struggles with reading, then you might have looked at that word before class and had a little deer in the headlight look, or might have panicked, or might have wanted to skip it. But look what you just did. And I'm seeing 1, 2, 3. So many people in the chat are saying, yes, I got it, but it was hard. Yes, but it was difficult. Yes, but it was hard. But you did it. You did such a hard word. Congratulations, my friends. That was amazing. All right, let's end on a medium one. Take it back just a little bit of a notch. Let's do this number 4 right here. Go for it. Don't let an R come in after the D. All right, so this I is going to say I because of the tap 2 rule. This I is going to say I because of the confident rule. There's a vowel before it that doesn't touch it and a vowel after it that doesn't touch it. And this I also says I before a different reason because there's not a vowel here or here. Look at that knowledge that you have that you might not have had 31 minutes ago. You probably didn't know, because I think I asked at the beginning of class, didn't I? If anybody knew what the confident rule was? That an I in the middle syllable can say I. As a matter of fact, it either almost always or always does. Actually, no, it's almost always. It says I when it's in the middle syllable like that, especially if the next letter is a consonant. That's kind of the key right there. But now you know. Now you know how to decode this word without guessing. That is a big deal. You know how to decode words that you've never seen before, all of these nonsense words, without guessing. You just figure it out like a math problem with your intelligence. All right, so here we have an I, an I, and an I. All of our sounds are f, I, n, I, d, I, m. Successive blending. Fur, fry, frine, frine, frined, frinid, frinidim. How'd you do? Frinidim. How did you do on frinidim? That's a lot of lines. Kaylee says, I always learn something new in the class. I love this class and you as my teacher, Miss April. What a kind thing to say. Thank you so much. I get just as excited about this as you. You guys leave me so much happier than before I started. It's just amazing to be on this journey with you and share this amazing information. You know what would be brilliant is if you taught this to somebody now. That will do a couple things. It will sink it a little deeper into your long-term memory and you will enlighten the world of somebody else. Go ahead and teach them the confident rule. When I is in the middle syllable, it gets to say I. Just a little princess letter. All right, that was fun, my friends. I hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Bye, everybody. Aren't they amazing? Don't you just love them? You've never met them, you've never seen them, but can't you just tell how great they are? So that was my adult reading class. I had an I had a youth spelling class first, and then an adult spelling class, and then an adult reading class, and that's it. So let me just scroll through a few of these comments to see if there's anything I can just answer here real quick before I have to close the Q&A. Here's the thing. Here's what I want you to know. Hello, everybody. I am on Mondays and Wednesdays. I go live just so that you can kind of see what class is like. You can see all of the things that we learn. You can feel the excitement. And then on Tuesdays and so on Mondays and Wednesdays, I focus on my class. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will be focusing on you. So I will see you back here tomorrow about the same time. I will start at 3:30, probably I think 3:30 Pacific time. And then I will just be focusing on you and I will be able to answer your questions. So thanks for being a fly on the wall in my class today. Have a wonderful rest of your night, my friends. Bye.